Jungkook was in his chair, one hand gripping his pen, the other rubbing his temple. Hard. He couldn't focus no matter how many times he tried to read the same line. On the paper. It just blurred into nothing. I was drugged, you bastard. Her voice kept running in his head like a damn ghost. Every time he blinked, he saw her face again, the way her eyes burned, the way her voice broke. He said a lot of things to her over the past weeks. Cruel things. He didn't know, of course he didn't. How the hell would he? He'd never seen what someone drugged looked like before. He didn't even think to ask, to wonder why she acted the way she did that night. He just assumed, judged her like everyone else did. And now the guilt was eating him alive. He doesn't care what she said or whatever venom she threw at him. He wasn't someone who judged people, yet he did the same thing. That night he was just doing his job, delivering a car for some rich drunk guy at that fancy club downtown. A car that cost more than his entire life. He remembered calling the man, saying the car was parked outside, and being dragged in just so they could hand him the cash in person. The smell of alcohol, perfume, sweat, it all came back to him now. The man shoved a thick envelope into his hands, laughing loud, telling him to keep the extra tip. Jungkook didn't complain. Easy money. He was walking out, helmet in hand, ready to go home when chaos caught his eye. A girl stumbled near the entrance, trying to pry someone's hands off her, pushing them away and knocking right into a waiter. The tray flipped, glasses shattered, and drinks splashed all over her. The waiter kept bowing, panicking, but the girl glared at him out like he had done it on purpose. He sighed, shaking his head. Rich brats would never take accountability. He turned away, walking toward his bike. But just as he was about to start it, a flash of movement made him freeze, straight out into the night, down the street, and right into the middle of the damn road. His heart jumped when he saw the headlights speeding toward her. He didn't even think, just ran. 1 second she was there, the next she was in his arms. Both of them crashing onto the side of the street, his head smacked against the pavement. A groan escaping his lips. For a second, stars exploded in his vision. Are you insane? He groaned, rubbing the back of his skull. She blinked up at him, dazed and unsteady, her pupils blown wide. That's when he saw her face properly and his stomach dropped. Kim Yen, the daughter of the man who owned the company he worked at. Oh, you've got to be kidding me, he muttered under his breath. She wobbled again, nearly falling, and instinctively he caught her, his hands landing at her waist. Easy there, he muttered, steadying her against a tree trunk. Her head lolled slightly, eyes half open. How much did you drink?
He asked, more to himself than to her. She giggled, like actually giggled. He blinked. You're kidding me.
You're giggling right now? When she didn't answer, he groaned. Go back inside. You came with friends, right? Where are they? She tilted her head, her glossy eyes finding his face like she was seeing humans for the first time. Yeah, friends, he repeated. Tell me who. Before he could finish, she pressed her face into the side of his neck, sighing. What are you something warm and wet brushed against his skin. He jerked back instantly. Did you just lick me? She giggled again, covering her mouth like it was the funniest thing in the world.
He groaned, dragging a hand down his face. Oh my God.
You're out of your damn mind. Double quotes. She mumbled something he couldn't catch and started fanning herself. Weakly. It's so hot, she whined, tugging at the strap of her dress. Sticky. I hate this dress. Give me your shirt. He blinked. Excuse me? Your shirt, she said again, pouting like a child. It's too hot. You have one. I don't, give me yours. Yeah, that's not happening, he said flatly, glancing around the road. You single quotes read drunk, not dying. Keep your clothes on. She was already fumbling with her strap, fingers clumsy, eyes glassy. For the love of, he swore and moved fast, wrapping an arm around both her wrists and pulling them down. Can you not? Let go, she mumbled, squirming weakly. Stop it, he snapped. She blinked up at him, confused and disoriented. You're so mean, double quotes. Yeah? Well, 2 minutes ago you were ready to walk into traffic. Now you're trying to strip. So excuse me for trying to keep you alive, woman. She only blinked, eyes glassy as she complained. So loud my ears hurt. He stared at her for a long second, her flushed cheeks, her unsteady breathing, and sighed deeply, rubbing his temple again. He glanced around, trying to figure out what the hell to do now with a unconscious heiress in his arms and no idea how bad things actually were. Later he was able to, at least, leave her to the hotel. He bought the room for one night for her because he didn't know where she lives, and she refused to tell him. That night was hell of a night. He didn't know it back then, didn't know she was drugged. Didn't know this night Dot would ruin both their lives. If only he'd known. It's been 3 days since that night. And he hadn't seen her around. Right now he rotting on his couch after his double jobs. And she wasn't home. She hadn't been home much lately. Maybe she was avoiding him. Maybe she just the idea in single quotes to want to look at him anymore. And honestly, he couldn't blame her. He did let out pretty harsh words. You look at the clock, maybe she wasn't going to come home tonight too. He stood up, ready to head to his room when he heard the faint click of the front door. The sound made him stop. He turned his head and there she was. Her hair was slightly messy, a tiredness on her face. She froze for half a second when she saw him, eyes flickering his way. But then she quickly looked away and walked past him like he wasn't even there.
He opened his mouth, unsure if he should even speak, but something inside him pushed out her name.
In. Wait. She turned the handle to her room and slammed the door hard enough that even it made him flinched. For a second, he just stood there, staring at the closed door. Then he sighed. At this rate, that door's gonna break before we fix anything between us double quotes . He don't know when he do get the chance to talk. The storm started without warning. One moment, In was trying to sleep, and the next everything went dark. The light was dead. She was sitting there from past 5 minutes, heart thudding hard against her ribs. Then the sound of thunder cracked across the sky, shaking the walls, and she flinched so hard. She searched for her mobile so a little light could do something. But the next flash of lightning lit up the room for barely a second, showing her reflection in the mirror, pale, wide-eyed, terrified. Then darkness swallowed everything again. She hated the dark. Always had. And it's not just that she feared the darkness, she have a terrified. Always feel like someone is squeezing the air out of her lungs. And if she stayed here for a few more seconds, she will start getting panic attacks. It's always worse. She can't breathe when it's happened. The crash of thunder boomed. Louder this time, and she yelped, clutching the blanket tighter around herself. Her breathing turned uneven, small sobs slipping out before she could stop them. She pressed her face into the comforter, trying to calm herself down. But her hands were trembling too much. She couldn't stay here. Not in this black, suffocating silence. I need light. I need to find Jungkook. She stumbled out of bed, her bare feet cold against the floor. Every small sound made her flinch. Her throat was dry and her vision blurred with tears. Jungkook. She called out, mostly a whisper. Hey, Jungkook. No answer. She tried again, louder this time, voice breaking. Jungkook? Where the hell are you? Somewhere in the living room, she heard a small thud followed by a low curse. Relief flooded her chest. Okay, that's him, she told herself. He's here, not need to cry. No need to panic. She calmed herself, wiping her face as she followed the sound. Stumbling her way through the narrow hallway, one hand trailing against the wall to keep herself steady. The thunder roared again and she let out another small cry, squeezing her eyes shut. Jungkook? She yelled again, breath hitching as she entered the kitchen. The faintest shape of a person stood near the window. Finally, she breathed out in relief and walked toward him quickly, her heart hammering. Why weren't you answering me, you jerk? The lights are... But when she reached him and touched his shoulder, his skin was cold wet. She turned him around and her scream tore through the air before she could even think. His face was white, hollow, eyes too dark, lips colorless. It didn't even look human in the light. She stumbled back, screaming again, No! Her back hit the counter, her chest was heaving, breaths coming in short. Sharp gasps like she couldn't find the air. Her eyes were wide, darting around wildly, seeing nothing but shadows that twisted and grew in her fear. Hey, in shit. The voice was familiar but she couldn't process it. Her heart was pounding too loud, her vision was spinning. Hey, what the hell, it's me. Warm hands grabbed her shoulders, shaking her gently. But she was completely drowning in the fear. Her body trembling uncontrollably, as she gasped. I can't breathe. The words broke between sobs, barely escaping her throat. Shit. Jungkook. Heart racing now too. Okay, hey. Look at me. He cupped her face, forcing her eyes up to his. Her pupils were blown wide, her breathing too fast. Breathe with me, okay? Deep breaths, in.
He inhaled loudly, exaggerating it for her.
And out, but she couldn't, her chest wouldn't obey. She shook her head violently, tears spilling over as she clutched at his shirt. I can...
Hey, it's okay, he said quickly with desperation.
You're fine. I've got you. You're fine. She was crying harder now, trembling so violently it scared him. Her fingers twisted in the fabric of his t-shirt, knuckles white. In, he whispered. Breathe. Just breathe. Thing was working, and before he could even think, before his mind caught up with what his body was doing, he pulled her against him, wrapping his arms around her. She fit against his chest like she was trying to disappear into it, and he held her, tighter. One hand pressed to the back of her head. Her sobs were muffled against him, but they didn't stop. He could feel the way she was shaking, her nails digging into his skin through the fabric. It wasn't helping. She was still panicking, trembling, and maybe it was panic or instinct. He didn't know which. His body moved before his brain did. He tilted her face up and captured her lips in his own. That was soft, desperate, a silent breathe, please. She thrashed around in his hold. Before her breath hitched, her trembling stilled for a moment. She froze against him, wide-eyed. The world suddenly pausing in that fragile second. He almost pulled away, realizing the madness of what he'd just done. Until she gripped his shirt with shaking fingers and leaned in like her body finally found something real to hold on to. Her lips trembled against his, her breath shaky. Her fingers clutched at his chest, curling in tightly. Her forehead pressing against his jaw as the first real breath finally left her lungs. 1, 2. Maybe out of relief. Slowly, he pulled back just enough to see her face. Her cheeks were wet, her lashes clumped together, and she looked, exhausted, terrified still, but less lost. Are you okay? She nodded at his question, just kept holding on to him like letting go would bring the darkness back. And Jungkook, who had no idea what the hell just happened or why his chest ached this much, held her just as tightly back. Then another loud thunder cracked through the sky, rattling the windows. She finally stepped back, her face flushed, her eyes darted everywhere but at him. Because now that the panic attack was over, her body was left with nothing but embarrassment. I just thought I saw something, she said quickly, trying to steady her voice. I think I was just imagining things. Jungkook bit his lower lip, guilt flickering across his face. Yeah. About that. He reached over to the small counter, flicking his phone flashlight toward his face. That was me. I was kinda pranking you. See, double quote, drop. Her jaw dropped. You what? I didn't know I was that scary, he said, trying to sound lighthearted. But it fell flat under her death glare. You thought it was funny to scare me? She hissed, eyes narrowing dangerously. Hey, not my fault. He quickly, hands raised. I didn't know you'd start having a full-blown panic attack. I can't stand the dark, Jungkook. I've always been scared of it. That shut him up. His gaze softened a little. I should have told you before, he said, finally, scratching the back of his neck awkwardly. When it rains like this, the electricity goes out every damn time. Double quotes. And there's no alternative? Any backup?
He shrugged. Nope, we waited out. She stared at him, horrified.
You're saying this, she waved her hand at the dark room, is going to stay like this till the lights come back? He nodded. Pretty much. Her mouth fell open in disbelief. How am I supposed to stay here then? Jungkook looked around like he was searching for a miracle. We've got, mobile flashlights? And maybe a torch somewhere. She gave him a look, her expression screamed, You're lucky I don't kick you right now. He cleared his throat, trying not to grin. What? It's romantic. She glared harder. Say that again and I'll make sure you meet your romantic ending double quotes. He chuckled nervously, holding up his hands. Okay. Maybe we could figure something out. The thunder boomed again outside, and she jumped, glaring at him like it was his fault too. He sighed, flicking his flashlight toward the hallway. They both ended up sitting on the old sofa. The two flashlight glow weakly between them. She was sitting curled up, knees close to her chest, nearly pressed against Jungkook arm. It was embarrassing enough, but what could she do? The darkness made her feel like the walls will swallow her all. He was there with his elbows resting on his knees, the silence between them thick and awkward. After a while, she yawned softly, trying to hide it with the back of her hand. He turned his head toward her. Where's your phone? Dead, she mumbled, almost pouting. He sighed, leaning back on the sofa. His fingers tapped on his knees before he scratched at his jeans, like he was debating something in his head. I'm sorry, he finally said after a long, uncomfortable silence. She blinked, turning to him in surprise. You should be. I was actually terrified. He rubbed the back of his neck. Not for that. Well, yeah, that too. But that's not what I meant. Double quotes. Her brows furrowed. Then what?
He exhaled, looking down at his hands. For that day.
At the dinner, I crossed the line. I shouldn't have said all that to double quotes. Neither of them said anything. And the words stuck in the air for a long time. Outside. The rain beat like a heartbeat against the windows, filling the stillness. I'm not surprised you believe what I said that day. Everyone did, because no one ever asks what really happened. They're quick to point fingers, especially when it's a woman. It's easier, right? I didn't actually believe that things, okay? Guilt was written all over his features. I just said them because I was angry. You were hitting where it hurt, and I wanted Dot to do the same. I said a lot of shit I didn't mean, and I'm sorry. For all of it. She stared at him for a moment, then looked down at her hands. I'm sorry to double quote. Donna said he wasn't expecting an apology. From her, and she continued. For hurting you. For everything I said to you. I was mad at everything. At how my life turned out. How it all fell apart overnight. And I guess you were just there, so I took it out on you. Her hands twisted the hem of her shirt as she spoke. I didn't mean to be cruel, I didn't know how to handle it. That doesn't justify my harsh words, she said quickly, adding it. It's one day my dad suddenly decides to fix my marriage. The next, I go out with my friends to clear my head, and then I wake up to find my face all over the news. Articles calling me names. Saying I was cheating. That I was seeing my lover before my wedding. That I was some kind of slut who couldn't wait. It was stupid, all of it. I don't even remember what happened that night. She looked down, blinking back tears. You didn't deserve any of that, he said, staring at her, wanting to wipe the tears from her cheek, but he didn't. Their relationship wasn't built for comfort. It was too jagged. Silence settled between them again, heavy and fragile. After a long pause, he exhaled and spoke softly, but nothing happened that night, Anne. Her eyes lifted to his face, except... He looked away, his fingers rubbing at the hem of his sleeve. You were out of your mind. You couldn't even walk straight. You kept saying you felt hot and dizzy. I just couldn't leave you on the street like that, so I took you to the nearest hotel. Booked a room, made sure you were safe inside. I stayed until you fell asleep, then I left. That's all that happened. Silence, heavy, raw, thick with everything unsaid. Her fingers gripped her shirt tighter, knuckles pale. Then why didn't you say that before? He looked up sharply. Would you have listened? You hated me. You said I was just some guy who ruined your life for fun. And honestly, he let out a bitter laugh. I was too angry to explain anything. You kept throwing daggers and I threw them back. I didn't think I needed to defend myself to someone who was not ready to listen. Her chest ached because he wasn't wrong. She hated him because she thought her life was ruined because of him. But deep down she knew the truth. The only person who ruined her life was her father. We are both stupid, she mumbled. Maybe if they would have talked before, they wouldn't have hurt each other. He raised a brow. Speak for yourself, eyes narrowing. I take that back. You're still a jerk and stupid. That's pretty harsh. He leaned back on the couch with his arms crossed. I call it accurate, she said back, yawning before she could stop herself. His eyes softened for half a second. You should sleep. She blinked at him, then pointed toward the dark hallway. You're joking, right? The lights are still out. The lights are still out? He hesitated, then scratched the back of his neck. Then maybe... You could sleep with me. Her eyes widened, and he instantly waved his hands, face flushing. Not like that. I mean, in my room. You can take the sofa. I'll give you a flashlight. She stared at him for a moment, then let out a tired laugh. Wow, what a gentleman. I'll sleep on the bed. Excuse me? But she was already on her feet, stretching and walking toward his room. Hey. Jungkook followed right behind her. Don't you dare. She opened the door and slipped inside. In. Good night, Jungkook. Double quotes. I swear to God if you steal my blanket. Your what? Oh, you mean my blanket. She called from inside, her voice dripping with fake innocence.
He stood in the doorway, glaring. You can't be serious.
I'll leave you here in the dark. Double quotes. Go ahead. She turned to him, chin held up high. I don't need you anyway. He huffed, grabbing a pillow from the sofa and throwing it at her. It hit her arm. Did you just throw that at me? Yeah, he said smugly.
Felt good too. Child, thiefy, man baby, drama queen.
She was about to snap back when thunder cracked again, louder this time, rattling the windows. The lights flickered once, then died completely before she even realized she was holding his arm. So you don't need me, huh? He grinned wider. She pulled back and punched him in the stomach. He groaned, doubling over. Oh, what the hell was that for? For being you. She snapped, glaring at him, though her heart was racing like crazy. He straightened slowly, rubbing his stomach. You've got issues, you know that? And you are one of them, she said, slipping under the covers and pulling the blanket up her chin, completely speechless. Unbelievable. You assault me and then steal my bed. I didn't assault you. That was self-defense. He blinked. From what? Breathing near you? Yes, she shot back instantly, peeking at him from the edge of the blanket. You're hazardous to my peace. A dry laugh, dragging a hand down his face. Just be saying anything for the sake of winning, right? If you're done whining, the sofa's waiting for you, husband. He stared at her for a long moment. You know, I used to dream of being married. One day. I thought maybe it'd be peaceful. She yawned. Yeah? And how's that dream going?
He glared. It's a nightmare. Good, at least we agree on something. Jungkook shook his head.
Fighting the smile off his lips. He turned off the flashlight. And sank onto the sofa, whispering to himself, guess that's my life now. If this rain keeps going one more day, I swear your house is going to float away, In said, wrinkling her nose as water squelched under her slippers. The floor near the wall was soaked, and drops were still leaking from the corner of the ceiling, like a slow, annoying heartbeat. Can you? Jungkook's voice came sharp from above her as he balanced on the ladder, his wet hair sticking to his forehead. Keep your mouth shut for like 2 damn seconds? She glared up at him. Excuse me, I'm literally helping you right now. Helping by commentating. Helpful. He tightened a wrench, then glanced at her, water dripping off his hair onto his forehead. His shirt stuck to his chest in dark patches. He looked ridiculous and oddly hot, and she rolled her eyes, so hard she almost saw stars. Pass me the tape, he said finally, clearly trying to get back to work. She crossed the room and grabbed the roll from the shelf. She held it up like it was a trophy. Say please. He paused, breath fogging in the cold air, then shot her a look. Say please. Yourself. She smirked. Nope, I'm not a beggar. He made the warning sound.
You don't scare me.
Say it.
He sighed through gritted teeth, water dripping from his chin.
Please. She grinned, handing him the roll. See, that wasn't so hard, was it? He didn't answer, just muttered something under his breath while fixing the pipe. But then the ladder wobbled slightly, making her jump. Hey, watch it, she shouted, grabbing one side of the ladder. I am watching it.
He barked back, steadying himself. Clearly not enough.
If you shake this ladder one more time, I swear. But before he could finish, another drop of water hit his face and he flinched, losing balance for half a second. She screamed, instinctively grabbing his leg. What the hell are you doing? He shouted. Saving your life, idiot. You're grabbing my leg, because you were about to fall. I wasn't going to fall. You were 2 seconds from kissing the floor. God, he groaned, rubbing his temple. Annoying. Why did I even ask for help from you? Don't ask yourself. Besides, you are wet. You are going to slip any moment. Come down and fix it. He blinked, then looked down at himself, shirt clinging to his chest, water dripping everywhere, and gave her a slow smirk. Didn't know you were checking me out. Her jaw dropped. I wasn't. You are literally on my face. Same thing. He climbed down, water making his jeans cling to his legs. He stepped away, and then, because he always liked to push her buttons, he tossed her a soggy towel. Here, dry off, doll. She threw the towel back at him. Watch your mouth. He caught it with one hand and dabbed his face, then crouched near the ladder, tightening one of the screws, so it wouldn't wobble again. His shirt sticks to him, soaked through, and every now and then he tugged it away from his chest. Twice, 3 times, trying to get rid of that sticky feeling. Each movement pulled the fabric taut across his shoulders, and for some reason, eyes just happened to follow. When he looked up suddenly, their eyes met, and he grinned. That kind of grin, that made you want to smack him and hide at the same time. Take a picture. It'll last longer. Her cheeks flared crimson immediately. You wish, she scoffed, crossing her arms. I'd rather stare at a donkey. Oh yeah. He leaned against the ladder, dripping water everywhere. I knew your interests were weird, but really didn't know you were into farm animals. She swatted his arm as she passed him a roll of seal tape. Now stop talking before I shove this up your pipe? He offered with mock innocence, fighting a grin. She glared so hard it could have burned through his soul. Fine, he chuckled, climbing back up the ladder. God, you're so touchy. I'm cold, wet, and surrounded by your stupidity. You'd be touchy too. He didn't reply, though his shoulders shook with a quiet laugh. The rain pounded harder on the roof as he worked, and she stood below, handing him tools, still muttering threats about throwing him out into the storm. He tightened the pipe one last time, wiped his hands on his jeans and looked down at her. There, crisis averted. Until it leaks again, she rolled her eyes. He climbed down slowly. Then you'll have an excuse to see me wet and shirtless, again. She threw the wrench at him. He yelped and jumped back to the other side. He laughed, holding up his hands. I was just joking. And you are trying to kill me here. She glared at him, but the tiny twitch at the corner of her mouth betrayed her. The rain still poured. The house still dripped in places, but for once it didn't feel weird.